Assalamu alaikum, Isam. Thank you so much for joining the session.
Wa alaikum assalam, Umair. Nice to have you.
So it's my pleasure to have you in this session. So basically, the main reason of having these session is to get as much knowledge from industry professionals because till the date we have a very big market gap जहाँ पे new industry professionals and people who are stuck in their 9 to 5 or they wanted to grow something वो अभी भी मुश्किल हो रही होती है उनको कि when is the right time to stop that and do that. So there are a lot of things that I wanted to discuss and wanted to have your thoughts on. Before we start the session, I'll be happy if you can introduce yourself. How's everything? How's life? What's going on in life? And then we'll start the session.
Sure, thank you, Umair. So I'm Mehsum. I'm originally from Pakistan, but now I live in sunny Singapore for the past 10 years. I have been a ex-banker. So last 22 years, I've been working in Standard Chartered Bank. First 13 years of that was spent in Pakistan, in Karachi. And then they shifted me to Singapore. And for the past 9 years, I was working in Standard Chartered. And last December, I quit my job and I had an idea to build something of my own. It's called Propellus, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. And since last December, I'm running Propellus as the founder and CEO full time and loving every day of it. So that's on the professional side. On the personal side, I'm married. I have 4 boys, all teenagers, so they're a handful. So life is very interesting.
Perfect.
Personally, I like to also work out, keep healthy, because lots happening in life.
Perfect, perfect. I think right now you are the perfect example of someone who wants to do exact same life in it because people, yes, they wanted to start their life in banking sector or they wanted to do something in 9 to 5 and they wanted to start something. So I think आप बहुत perfect candidate हो उसके लिए कि मैं उससे चीजें पूछूं. So let's start it from very scratch and let's see how everything you what was the thought process when you were going through. So first of all, uh, how was like what was the decision when you were going in banking? Because what I see is कि and you are the core example for it क्योंकि अगर मैं अपनी बात करूं हमारी जनरेशन की या हमारी जनरेशन से थोड़ा पहले जो आपकी जनरेशन थी they they see like banking is a thing जहाँ पे बंदा एक बार जाता है and they go out retirement पे ही it's a very stable job. ठीक है. Usually we don't see layoffs. ठीक है. It's a very smooth job. पाकिस्तान में अगर देखा जाए तो बहुत सारे और फायदे भी होते हैं कि उससे आप तो एक तो you can you can buy a house. आपको लोन में मसला नहीं होता. Your life is settled. ठीक है. Being as a millennial, what I see is कि when I was in my 25, 26, my mother was like, yeah, why don't you go to in banking? See your cousins, they are in banking, they are building their homes, they are buying their cars, and why don't you do that? Apparently, स्ट्रक्चर अगर देखा जाए तो बैंकिंग में जॉब्स की सैलरीज इतनी ज्यादा नहीं होती इनिशियल लेवल पे बट द पर्क्स दे हैव इट्स वेरी बिग जो कि इनिशियली किसी भी एमएनसी कह लें या किसी भी स्टार्टअप में नहीं होते. ठीक है. सो व्हाट वाज योर थॉट प्रोसेस लाइक एट दैट टाइम डू यू थिंक बैंकिंग ही हुई थी क्योंकि मैं ज्यादातर जब देख रहा हूँ तो अब तो खैर बहुत एडवांसमेंट आ गई. अब तो लोग बैंकिंग के अलावा देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फील्ड, दे आर टेक, दे आर फिनटेक, दे आर मल्टीपल थिंग्स दैट पीपल आर गोइंग. But what was your thought process when you were yeah chalo banking is the field that I wanted to go because I think it's a very planned out decision because you invested 22 years of your life in banking. So how was your overall experience in
Yeah.
banking?
So I think it's a very short story. It's very interesting why I wanted to be a banker. And it's a very childish story. I was 10 years old when my mother took me to a BCCI. Back in the 80s, BCCI was a very big and famous bank that went into turmoil. So my mother had an account there. My parents had an account there. My father was outside, so my mother took me, and I was parked outside with one of my cousins, And when I saw the big building, I was like, wow, what's such a beautiful building this is. And then in the morning, I saw very nicely dressed people coming out of very nice, fancy cars. And that left an impression in me saying that, wow, people who work here dress so nicely and they drive such nice cars and they work in such a nice place. And that left an impression at the age of 10. And I said, maybe that's what I want to do, at the age of 9 and 10, where you're trying to think of what you want to do. So that left an impression. And then over a period of time, I saw some of my cousins. My sister was a banker. There were a few other cousins. They all went into banks and they all were doing very well. And they were, driving nice cars, wearing nice clothes, living in nice fancy houses, going to nice restaurants. So unfortunately, it was a very shallow reason for me to decide to be a banker, and that's how I pursued. So after I finished my MBA, I got an opportunity to work in Standard Chartered as their management trainee, and since then I've never looked back. And there's the journey we'll talk about more, but that was the reason why I started banking. It was a very shallow story, but that's the reality.
Perfect, perfect. I think at that point of time, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट ये होता था कि आपके मेंटोरशिप या आपकी, जैसा आपने बताया, यू हैव फैमिली, फैमिली जिसके अंदर लोग बैंकिंग सेक्टर में होते हैं, तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा आपको प्लस पॉइंट होता है कि आप उन चीज़ों उनको देख सकते हैं. I'll go to the banking experience, but before that, so I just wanted to discuss, like, you graduated in 2000 from your MBA. I wanted to know, okay, so you have seen your generation, you have seen the millennial generations, and you have now seen the Gen Zs. How do you see the job market change? Because, like, what do you think, what structure or thought process change now? तब जॉब मिलना आसान थी, अब जॉब मार्केट अलग तरीके से. मैं थोड़ा सा देखना चाह रहा हूँ क्योंकि यू हैव सीन थ्री जनरेशन आपने देखी हैं, और आपको पता है कि यार ठीक है यार, हमारे टाइम पे ये ऐसी चीजें थी, अब ऐसी है. ठीक है, उसके बाद चीजें चेंज हो रही थी. सो व्हाट वर द मेन थॉट प्रोसेस दैट यू हैव एन आइडिया कि यार ये वो चीजें जो अभी भी सेम है, लेकिन ये वो चीजें जो बिल्कुल चेंज हो गई आफ्टर ग्रेजुएशन.
Yeah, so I think when I graduated, there were a few categories of jobs that sort of MBAs were looking to get into, right? One was the financial sector, which is like banks and brokerage houses. The other was FMCGs was very hot, so people wanted to get to work for P&G, Lever Brothers, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Those were the other categories, right? And then some of them were like pharmaceuticals was quite hot as well. But we did not have a lot of options at that time, right? Especially when I graduated. But now there is a lot more that people are willing to do, right? So there is tech suddenly that has come across, right? The other changes that I've sort of experienced is when I was sort of going into the job market, we all wanted, or at least my class or my cohort of people, we wanted to get jobs in multinational organizations, right? Because we thought that the perks, the money, the environment is relatively better. Local jobs were secondary, right? The other thing that at least drove me towards a multinational was that I had this aspiration that one day I hope that I can move and live abroad and get international experience, right? Which is relatively possible if you work for a multinational, right? The other thing I would say to your question around what have I seen in terms of changes, I remember, and this is another story. So my father was in the Air Force, right? So he was a military man. So I grew up with a sort of a disciplinary military father, right? Um, and I remember my first couple of years in Standard Chartered, I was the assistant product manager, then product manager. I got an offer from Citibank, right? Which was probably double the amount of money that I was making at Standard Chartered at that point in time. And I went and spoke to my father that Dad, you know what? I have this fantastic opportunity from Citibank. They're going to give me, a lot more money. And you know what he said? You are going to move because of money? I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? He says, is Standard Chartered not taking care of you? I said, no, it's a great organization. He said, I thought they sent you for training to Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia. Didn't they take care of you? I said, yes. I said, is your boss nice? I said, yes, my boss is amazing. Does he invest in you? Yes. Does he take care of you? Yes. Does he give you work? Yes. Does he grow you? Yes. Then you are going to move for money? He told me as if this was a bad thing. And, I didn't take that job because I thought, pata nahi, what am I going to move for? So, what I'm trying to say with all of this is there is a mindset shift. Is whoever gives me more money, I'll move. I have worked for Standard Chartered for 22 years. And for all these 22 years, I have grown like anything. And money was never the driver. Money always came as the growth came. The point I'm trying to make is that I now see, as I now hire people, build different teams, the youth have don't have a lot of loyalty, and they run for x dollars extra. They want to just run. So the concept of loyalty is reducing, and this whole hunger for money, and going towards that is has become a priority rather than learning and developing yourself and growing that way. So that's the difference I foresee, and I wish that the young folks can take this message and learn from some of my experiences.
I think it's a very good जो भी आपने बताया कि at that time people do want money, but money is basically they know that money is a byproduct. It will come progressively how you grow. Another thing that I wanted to discuss, yes, you are right that now generation is thinking very differently. Now people are very directly. I think the first priority people have in mind is money. The second and third is maybe growth or something like that. I'll be discussing that in a while, but also one more important thing is about the growth. People nowadays think that vertical growth is only one thing. They don't understand about the horizontal growth. So, for example, um, if I talk to any Gen Z and I talk about why do you switch or why do you want to switch, the thought process they have is I don't think it's working. I wanted to do something else. They don't make a list that you have. Okay, fine, if the company is doing good. But also that the point is कि you were in bank. It's a very stable job. Your dad pointers make very good sense because banks में layoff नहीं होते. Till the date शायद ही कभी हुए हो because what I see is कि layoff तो शायद हमारे टाइम पे होते थे. When my dad was on job, मुझे तो पता भी नहीं था कि layoff कोई चीज होती है. It's like I think 10 साल पहले we see this thing कि layoff भी कोई चीज होती है because what I thought कि बचपन में तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि you work and you only work for that company. मतलब जॉब स्विच
Yeah,
नाम की कोई चीज ही नहीं है. So what do you think like horizontal growth, what's the main important, like how much important horizontal growth is? Because it's not about making money. I'm pretty much sure when you started the job you were making x number of amount, and when you left it was way bigger than that. But
yeah,
throughout the 22 years, because 22 years is not like 2 years, it's like one third of your life, and you're
yeah,
investing in the same place. And to be very honest, अगर मैं maths करूं तो you are investing more time in your company than your family, because you were there for
yeah,
9 hours and you were with your family with for 4 or 5 hours, क्योंकि उसके बाद तो आप सो जाते हैं. And you're
yeah,
investing more time and more life in that thing. Do you think हॉरिजॉन्टल ग्रोथ इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, बट उसके लिए ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है आप किस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आपके लिए क्या कर रही है. बिकॉज आई एम प्रीटी मच श्योर इफ योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एट दैट टाइम स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड इज नॉट गिविंग यू दोज थिंग्स, मे बी द perspective your dad has will be changed, or they don't have the criteria, maybe then the money is the priority. But what is the right pathway? अगर आप horizontal growth देखें भी इसमें क्या positive है क्या negative है, what was your thought process?
Yeah. So I can talk about myself, right? So in banks, there are different ways, or banks and organizations, there are different ways you can grow, right? So you can grow vertically. You can stay in a certain department and grow. So let's say you're in corporate banking, you're an associate, and you grow. You're in marketing, you're in branch banking. Let's say you're a let's say a teller. You can become a service person, you can become a salesperson, you can become a branch manager, regional manager, and so on and so forth. um, for me, I chose a different path for myself. I have actually worked in and if in mostly in the retail banking space, but I've worked in product management. I've worked in credit card side, branch banking, building branches, and even HR operations, risk, recovery, collections, governance, cybersecurity. But I chose that, and why I chose that, because I wanted to actually grow horizontally, like this. I wanted to experience different things, because I used to get bored, doing one thing. So let's say if I was a floor manager, the next thing would be a branch manager, and so on and so forth. But I chose from a product management, move to branch banking. From branch banking, move to training and development. From training and development, went to. So while I was growing, moving horizontally, I was also moving,
Vertical.
diagonally,
Yeah, diagonal.
vertically, diagonally up as well. But what was happening was that I was enriching my experiences. So today, the reason why I am a founder, and I can, and I'm a CEO, is because I have gone through so many different experiences that I'm able to, have some form of domain expertise in those particular areas, and I can help my team, in those discussions as well. You don't have to know all of the things, but you just need to know a few of the things well, right? So that has been sort of my experience, and there have been many people who've done that. Now, if somebody wants to go down that path, it's your choice, right?
Mm,
It is an uncomfortable choice, because it's difficult after a few years of working to
mm,
go into a different department or a new domain which you do not know things. It's uncomfortable the first year, because you're learning, and there are people under you or junior than you who know a lot more than you.
mm.
But once you cross that chasm, you grow a lot more. And that's what I sort of follow. I like to do uncomfortable things. I like to do things that are difficult, but that's just me.
Fair
Not
enough.
everybody is like that.
Fair enough. I think everybody is different, and people usually see life in a different perspective. Some people, the main reason of discussing this horizontal growth path is because I don't see vertical growth is wrong. It's just a matter of understanding that how you want your life to be. um, that comes to a very good point. अभी आपने बताया कि you were doing multiple things. You were in banking sector, but it's not only doing one thing. Just I go on your street and do one thing for 22 years of your life. It's more like doing multiple things. ठीक है? You invested 22 years of your life in something. 22 years, I personally believe after 22 years, it's become a habit. Then it's not a job. You know everything, everyone knows you. And it's also about people recognize you, because when you move towards another company, then you need to make their whole building of yourself, own personal branding, फिर लोग आपको जाने, and vice versa. After 22 years, why do you realize at that moment, let's leave the job, let's leave the 9 to 5, and let's do something that requires maybe 12 hours or maybe more than 12 hours a day, whether you are doing 9 hours properly, giving your family time, because running a company is not that easy. So
Yeah,
what
no,
was the
that's a very good
passion?
question.
What was the passion that because I personally believe again. मैं अपनी बात भी करूँ, 6-7 साल के एक्सपीरियंस के बाद मैं कहूँ कि यार मुझे करना है, तो मेरे पास वो जो बफर है वो सही है, बिकॉज ठीक है, आई कैन डू दैट। एंड ऑल्सो व्हाट आई डू इज के आई डू समथिंग इन द सिमिलर थिंग, के आई एम इन प्रोडक्शन, so my thought process according to me, okay fine, I wanted to start my production house, or I start this, I can start that, but relevant to my field. You are in banking now, what you are doing is, it is neat financial thing, but it's not close to financing. Okay, it's a visa
Yeah.
related thing. So why? At what point
Yeah.
you
So,
realize?
very, very good question, and I'll take a little bit of time to
For sure,
unpack a few of these
for
things,
sure,
right?
for
So,
sure.
the first point that you made was 22 years. So I want to break that into two parts. So first
Mm,
13 years was in Pakistan,
mm,
and the last 9 years, 9+ years, were in Singapore. Trust
mm,
me, they are different organizations altogether, right? Uh, when I was in Pakistan at the end of 13 years,
mm.
everybody knew me. For me to get anything done was a phone call, and things used to get done. I was very, very comfortable. What I was a small fish, right? Sorry, a big fish in a small pond.
Okay.
When I moved to Singapore, I was an extremely small fish. The same guy, I felt I was a small fish in a huge sea of a pond. I felt lost. Literally, I had to start from all over again. All the emotions, the feeling, the fears, the insecurities, they all come back when you move to a country. And the biggest mistake that I made was, not only did I move countries, not only did I move jobs, but I also moved functions. You shouldn't be doing so much of change all at once. Generally, people either keep the same boss, or same function, and keep change countries. But I changed countries, function, and boss. Everything was new for me. Literally, the first couple of years were horrible for me. I had to restart everything, build my brand, work harder than ever. And in fact, I realized that I potentially need to even learn more. And I went and did another MBA. So I did an executive MBA from NCR while I was working, right? It was a 18-month program, so that I make sure that I equip myself to work in a global environment. So that's the first point I wanted to sort of give to you. And then I became comfortable again, in the bank. But your question around what happened, what triggered this, and that's another story. So about 3 years ago, my wife, and our kids, we wanted to take our sons to Manchester United football match. They're all soccer fans, so we wanted to go to London. Um, my wife has a Singaporean passport. Two of our other kids have Singaporean passports. Myself and my youngest, we have a Pakistani passport. So we did all
Mm,
the visas, and we went. The plan was, my wife, my youngest son will go to Pakistan, and from there Dubai, and Dubai to London.
mm.
And these two other boys will fly directly from Singapore to London because they didn't want to come to Pakistan. During our flight, we land in Dubai, and we're about to go through the immigration. And at the immigration desk, they look at my passport, visa, no problem. My wife, Singaporean, no problem. They look at my 10-year-old boy's visa, and they say, "Sir, there's a problem." On his passport, there was one digit. On his visa, there was one digit, which was a 6, which was an 8, which could not be seen through the naked eye. The guy showed me under a magnifying glass. I said, okay, no issue. Umair, we were not allowed to travel. Our entire
Oh
flight,
shit.
our entire trip got cancelled. We had to offload the other two boys who were at the airport about to board a flight. Full Netflix scene. We were
It's
not allowed
it's
to
like a
even.
climax scene. I'm assuming, and it's like, चले अगर आप कहते हैं कि आपके साथ हुआ है, तो I was like, चलो totally different thing. It's like your kid
Yeah.
and 10-year-old, and I
10
think
year
if
old 10 year old boy, and वो दो बाकी बच्चों को भी हमने ऑफलोड किया. अच्छा, because it was just after COVID, Singapore required a 4-day prior approval. It wasn't a visa, an approval for anybody, even citizens. We didn't have time. We couldn't go to Singapore. We couldn't go to Dubai. We had to go back to Pakistan, then get that approval, and finally get there. Flights were cancelled. Money was lost. That's nothing. But I started to think about one thing. How is it possible that in this day and age, with one digit of error, such a big impact can happen? And I said, that's not possible. Something has to change. Somebody in the world has to be solving this problem. I
mm,
couldn't find anybody who was solving this problem. That was the trigger moment. My wife, and I was obsessed at that time. I just was a very different person. My wife one day asked me, Chhod do, why are you so concerned? Ho jata hai, things happen. I said, no, somebody in the world has to solve this problem. And she said, do you know how to solve this problem? I said, I think I can figure it out. And then I started working nights, weekends to figure this out and come up with a plan. And then I built a prototype. I invested my money. I've wasted money, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, 3 years later, we have a company called Propellus, which is now building the next Amazon for travel visas, bringing travelers, travel agents, governments all onto the same platform for a visa in a few clicks. We just went live last month in Bangladesh. We're going to be going live in Pakistan, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We've raised about $600,000. We have immense amount of partners who wish to join. We have 15 people now. But I'll tell you, it's been a hard journey. So that was the trigger point why I started this. Now I'll take a pause, and after that I'll tell you how what I'm doing and banking is actually the same thing.
before you do that, I have a question that I wanted to
Go ahead.
discuss. You are a Pakistani, okay? Every goddamn lane has like a person of saying, "हमसे visa लगवा दें," travel agents. We have seen this thing in our entire life. ठीक है? I worked in Pakistan for almost 6 7 years, and then I moved to UAE. Over here, it's not on the face. Travel agents, travel agents, travel. In Pakistan, it's on the face. ठीक है? Travel agent is like आप हत्तर उठाओ आपको travel agent मिलेंगे. वीजे पहले भी लग रहे थे. I'm assuming वीजे अब भी लग रहे हैं. I'm also assuming कि the visa market of this guys of selling visas, the travel agent, उनकी market बहुत बड़ी है. ठीक है? Because it's all about trust. Once, what I personally feel is कि it's a very personal experience of mine. um, One of my family member, they have a travel agent and they do everything with them. Umrah, Hajj, every sort of travel going outside Pakistan, inside Pakistan, any travel history that they have is from that travel agent. It took me only one time. He referred me that agent, and I was applying for some country's visa. Um, or I think it's Abu Dhabi's or maybe some other country. And then I realized this person is charging a lot more than I can do it. So what I
Yeah,
did is I just go on YouTube. I just watch few videos that give me overall idea because I'm a decent educated person. I know what to do and what not to do. And
yeah,
at the same time, it took me like 45 to 50 minutes to fill all this thing and a day or two to get my visa for that specific thing. And then I told that person, the family member that I have, is like, do you have any idea how much money that person make from you? Because you are blindly trusting them. Because in Pakistan, it's like लोगों को सिर्फ ये पता है वीजा लग के कैसे आता है. They
yeah,
don't even bother. And it's not that because once you land in that, if anything happens, वो बंदा नहीं आने वाला.
of course.
ठीक है. So इतना टिपिकल मार्केट में जहां पे इतना कुछ मसले मसाइल हैं, इतनी बड़ी वो है जो कि क्योंकि वीजास ट्रैवल इज बेसिकली, अगर मैं बात करूं टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, आउटसाइड पाकिस्तान it's a different thing. Okay, I see people are managing their overall trip by their own. I do that as well. My travelings, my visas, my air ticketing, my accommodation. I do everything on my own. Okay.
Yeah,
In Pakistan, it's totally अलग way. भाई जाओ उसके पास फैमिली 5 लोगों की, भाई हमें जो है यहाँ पे जाना है, बताएं कितने पैसे लगेंगे, ओह भाई ये पैसे ले लें, और वो सब उस पे छोड़ देते हैं. ठीक है. मतलब कुछ तो थोड़ा होगा, मतलब बाय, मतलब मैं सिर्फ ये सोच रहा हूँ कि यस, इट हैपेंस, एंड आई एम वेरी टूवर्ड्स योर वाइफ साइड, कि वो सही कह रही थी कि छोड़ दो. मतलब व्हाट मैटर्स, क्योंकि 22 years बैंकिंग, एवरीथिंग इज गुड. ठीक है. आई रियलाइज कि यू लॉस्ट लॉट ऑफ मनी एंड जो भी उसमें, क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली बात है, फ्लाइट कैंसिल हो गई और फिर दोबारा करानी है सारी चीजें. व्हाट वाज योर थॉट प्रोसेस कि यार मैं इतनी बड़ी मार्केट के अंदर इसको कैप्चर करूंगा, तो कैसे? डू यू थिंक still right now you think यार a lot of things to be changed, because पाकिस्तान में आई एम अज्यूमिंग ऐप वाली चीजें इतना चलती हैं नहीं, क्योंकि as a seller you have the knowledge, but the buyer itself has the money but don't have the
yeah.
knowledge.
So let me explain. So I'm not building Propellus for Pakistan.
Okay.
I'm building Propellus for the world,
Okay.
right? So let me give you some stats. 4 billion people, 4 billion, half of the population of the world comes from weak passports. Number one.
Okay.
There are 250 million visas processed in 1 year. Fact number two. Fact number three, it is a $22 billion market size, and technology and infrastructure and processes are 20 years behind. That is the opportunity I found when I got into it. Pakistan for me is just the start. Bangladesh is just the start. I am just testing my product in these markets. This is not the market. India is the market. China is the market. Africa is the market. That's where the volumes are,
Hmm.
right? So I hope that's clear. So that's number one. Now let me come to you. When I got into this rabbit hole, I figured out how similar banking and government visa processing is.
Hmm.
And now I'll explain. The, the it's the same thing. How? What is a bank? A bank wants to give money or loan to the right people who take the money, give interest, and pay the money back. That's a bank. That's what a bank does. Loan deta hai, loan वापस लेता है, interest ले लेता है. That's how they make money. Clear? Simple form में, that's a bank. What is a government that issues visa? Government wants to issue visas again to the right people who come into their country, spend money, build the economy, and then go back. Very similar. The problem is the 2%, globally, the 2%, the naughty boys and girls who overstay and not return or create the problem. So, do you see the similarity? Now, I'll show you another similarity. How have banks solved this, and how governments have not solved this? What do banks do well, and what governments do poorly? Governments have solved this problem. How? Sorry, banks have solved this problem. How? They have a thing called data locker. They have data, they have automation, they have the right infrastructure, and the most critical thing, they have credit scoring. They can score you, they can figure out if this is a person who the probability of his default is high, medium, or low. They are super at portfolio and risk management. What am I doing? I have learned all of this in banking. I am bringing all of this into this space. I am enabling governments and people with data, smart data, to have data in all in one place. I'm giving them the technology, AI infrastructure, and I'm building a credit score like thing called travel scoring for governments to differentiate between Mehsum, who's an entrepreneur, Pakistani, and a taxi driver whose probability of default or returning is far lower. It's
Hmm.
the same thing. It's the same approach. It's just a different industry. That was my aha moment when I realized $22 billion market, half of the population of the world, 20 years behind in front of infrastructure. All I need to do is just bring this into this industry and capture this market.
Fair enough. I think I was not sure कि इतना इतना बड़ा वो है, but I'm pretty much sure कि you research very well before going to the rabbit hole because uh, वीजा हो गया या इस तरीके की कोई चीज हो गई, it's more related towards के government entities are included. It's not like you are just a middleman taking a parcel giving to someone and taking a parcel that giving to someone else. It requires a lot. The second thing is your brand is it's a B2B or it's a B2C.
So currently, we are a B2B to C. So
Okay.
we sell our technology to online travel agents, right? So let me explain. Today, if you go to any, and you said you do your own booking, right? So you
Mm,
probably go to booking.com or you
mm.
go to Kayak or somewhere, right? You will see flights, hotels, and things like that. What we have started to enable is flights, hotels, and visas, because Bangladeshis, which we've enabled for Gozayan now, all Bangladeshis and all Pakistanis need to travel outside of Pakistan need visas. So where is that visa service? Right, that is what we enable through technology. So our next partner is called Vigo. It's a Singapore based company. They also have a Pakistan arm, and we are enabling visa service for them as well. How we fulfill this is that many of these visas are now online e-visas, and they have visa suppliers. Governments don't want to do this. This is a very not an area where governments want to focus. So they delegate this out to visa service providers, and visa agencies. So what we do is we bring those visa agencies onto the platform as well and give them a fully automated solution end to end. They love it because they can reduce their cost, they can reduce their error rates, and customers, our OTA partners online, they love it because they are giving additional services to their customers who are taking flights and hotels. Now we can give them visa services, and travelers love it because they have a one window operation: flights, hotels, and visas in one place, and they are happy to pay for it because it is reducing their pain that they currently have to go through.
Okay, so I have few things to ask. So there is a website called Happy Holidays, and they are doing the same thing. I'm pretty much sure I have seen a lot of websites that are doing the similar thing. ठीक है, they don't have a product page or product itself जो जिसमें बहुत सारी और facility होंगी, but they are doing similarly कि you buy this package and the visa is included and they do everything and all. Second thing, you're saying it's a B2B to C. If it's a B2B, like you're doing it for travel agents, travel usually visas usually involve commissions. And for example, if I am a travel agent, I have my resources that I'm getting the visas from. तो आई एम प्रीटी मच श्योर वो मुझे कमीशन देते होंगे ज़्यादा, ठीक है? एंड आई एम अज्यूमिंग एज अ प्रोडक्ट you will be charging XYZ amount to the travel agents as well. So why do you think people should, as a travel agent, switch from their connections towards your platform? Number one. Number second, don't you think बी टू बी टू सी से अच्छा है बी टू सी? जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल द वेबसाइट दैट आई टोल्ड यू, हैप्पी हॉलीडेज, if I'm not pronouncing it the name right. Sorry, holiday factories. Sorry, holiday factories. So what is this के and my friend used that, तो मुझे पता है कि उन्होंने क्या करा. It's you go on their website, you pick a destination, they give you a proper package with the visa and everything. You select the package, they will call you, they will assist with you and you in everything, the ticketing and everything, and they do it directly. So as a consumer, I'll get that thing without the hassle of doing going to the travel agent. But for example, if I'm talking about your product, it's B2B2C, then I still need to go to the travel agent. To be very honest,
No,
you are
you don't
make
need to. You
you
don't
don't.
need to.
Okay.
No, no. First of all, many people offer this service.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, the service journey is they offer the service. You like the price. What will they do? जी आप हमें ये व्हाट्सएप कर दें, पासपोर्ट डाल दिया, ये कर दिया. Then what do they'll do? They'll fill out the form for you, they'll send it, you'll say okay sign it, this for, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that, you know, आगे पीछे चलता रहेगा. Our platform is fully automated, backed by AI. So what you do is you open an account, all your data and documents are already stored there. All you have to do is to tell the platform, I need to go to Dubai on this and this date. It extracts all the information, autofills everything, gets everything packaged ready, shows you a price, you press a button, and that's it. The thing that you do for hours and hours, you are going to be doing in minutes, right? So that's number one.
mm,
When you go through an individual human,
mm,
there is a 33% error rate in the travel visa industry. This is not me, this is what the travel agents tell us.
mm.
Why are they buying this technology? Why are they using it? Because they recognize human errors, they recognize things. The other thing is, our platform knows what the requirements are as they shift. You know, if you doing things manually, it's very, very difficult. So you have a dynamic system that recognizes what is changing, what is not. So AI powered everything. At the back end, generally, all travel agents have individuals sitting and doing manual verification, validation. Passport valid है, passport पे नाम जो है वो form पे सही है, ID card से match करता है. All those things don't need to happen. They're already happening through the system. All validations are already done. The work that one individual does, 2-3 घंटे लगा के अपनी पूरी application करता है, it's done in seconds, right? So an individual, a travel agent or a back-end visa supplier who has 12 people now only needs one person. So his cost of operation goes down,
Fair
his
enough.
efficiency, and he gets a lot of volume. And then what does he do? He goes on the government portal to upload things manually. We've created those links. With the press of a button, that data is extracted and uploads it onto this. So the loop that you have, the whole visa journey is
Mm.
faster, it's more efficient, it's more cleaner, and each journey pay you are getting notifications. That's the future, right? That's how things should happen. The same way you book a flight and a hotel, it's the same way
Fair
that these
enough, but
things should happen.
I totally agree with the point you are making of flow. बट इस फ्लो के अंदर ट्रैवल एजेंट का काम क्या है? मैं कंज्यूमर हूँ. अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट हर चीज एआई से एक्सट्रैक्ट कर रहा है, अम, अम, और मुझे सिर्फ अपनी चीजें डालनी है. अब जैसा आपने कहा कि आई जस्ट नीड टू से कि मुझे दुबई से फॉर एग्जांपल यूके जाना है, आई सेंड दिस थिंग और मुझे वीजा मिल जाए डायरेक्टली. सो व्हाई नीड अ ट्रैवल एजेंट इन दैट? व्हाई
So
नॉट बी
we're
टू
not
सी?
selling this to travel. No, no, we're not selling this to travel agents only. We are selling this to online travel agents who are already booking flights and hotels. देखिए जब आप जाते हैं वीजा लेने के लिए, so you need a flight, you need a hotel, and you need a visa. ठीक है, you need all of this. Sometimes you need an eSIM. You're getting all of these things in one place. आप वीजा लेने जा रहे हैं एक पोर्टल पे, फ्लाइट लेने जा रहे हैं दूसरे पोर्टल पे, होटल लेने जा रहे हैं. Why? When you can get everything in one place. So what we're doing as a start, I'm not saying we're not going to do B2C. I'm saying we are starting with OTAs. We're starting with B2B2C. So what we want to do is capture the OTA market, then look at travel agents. Once we've established ourselves, we can do B2C as well. Umair, we have limited resources, and B2C requires a lot of marketing dollars. So do I spend money in promoting my product or building my product?
फेयर इनफ दैट.
I am focusing on building the
यस.
product, and the OTAs already have clients who are coming organically, and I am feeding into that.
I think
So
I think
so
I
our
think that
strategy
makes,
is different.
yeah, I think that makes more sense now because if you directly do it B2C, then there are chances कि एक तो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा लोग आ सकते हैं और फिर बहुत सारे मसले होंगे. तो it's good to have a B2B2C, so you know the product in a year or so. Care what are the things that we need to fix. So after 2 years or maybe 3 years, when you realize, okay, now this is the right time, product is all good to go. People just need to scan their passports, nothing else. Let's start with B2C, and then you can invest in the marketing phase. I think it's a very good initiative, and I think it's good to go. The last thing that I wanted to discuss is, so you already told the story ke how this brand came into being. I'm pretty much sure कि वो हादसा नहीं होता तो I'm pretty much sure शायद आप कभी ये बनाते नहीं. But what is the main difference between a 9 to 5 and becoming a CEO? For example, the life is so easy when you're doing 9 to 5. Now it's, I think, it's not a 9 to 5. You are working 24/7 and you need to do a
Yeah,
lot of things because now it's not about only uh, making it right, because you sort the idea, okay, fine, this thing will solve the problem that I had, but now I need to reinvest in it and I need to put a lot of different things, because right now in 2025 you can't only just focus on one thing. क्या ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दी.
yeah,
नेवरदलेस अगर, क्योंकि अगर उसमें दो चीज होती हैं. एक, सबसे पहले आप कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे, मतलब मार्केट फर्स्ट आप हैं या नहीं. अगर आप मार्केट फर्स्ट नहीं है तो वैसे ही आपको पेनिट्रेट करने के अंदर बहुत मुश्किल होता है. क्योंकि इफ समवन, दिस इज व्हाट आई बिलीव के अ स्मॉल कंपनी मेक समथिंग बिग एंड अ बिग जाइंट कम बाय द कंपनी, खलास, end of the
yeah.
discussion. So what was the difference between pursuing your 22 years as the 9 to 5, and what are the difference between pursuing the rest of the life becoming a CEO? Do you think अगर ये CEO इनिशिएट आप पहले स्टार्ट करते, बिकॉज एज यू सी ये मसले तो हमेशा से होंगे, आपके साथ तो बहुत एंड टाइम पर हो गए. अगर किस पहले होता तो आई थिंक पहले हो जाता. क्या डिफरेंस है, लोगों को वाकई में इनिशिएट करना चाहिए? बिकॉज एज यू मेंशन, एक छोटा सा आइडिया था एंड माशाल्लाह यू हैव डन इट अ वेरी बिग थिंग. क्योंकि जब आप डिग डाउन करते हैं तो आपको पता चलता है कि ओके सिर्फ ये मसला नहीं है, ये भी मसला है, ये भी मसला है. तो डू यू थिंक
Yeah.
बिकमिंग अ सीईओ इज द राइट डिसीजन मूविंग फ्रॉम योर 9 to 5?
So from my perspective, absolutely. See, I'll tell you. When I did my second MBA from INSEAD in 17 and 18, and I pursued it in entrepreneurship because I like solving problems, and I knew that I am not going to be doing a 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life. It is not something that is sustainable. ये जो कोकेन का शॉट हमें मिलता है ना 25 तारीख को, that is not sustainable, right? um, and I thought that I wanted to solve problems and I wanted to build a company. I just didn't know what to, right? So it's not like just jump into anything. When I got the idea, when I had this problem, I knew that this is a worthy cause for me to pursue. So how did I make this decision? What was the rationale, right? What was the thinking? I had the idea. The problem was big enough. The problem was challenging enough. Did I have the right skill sets? The answer is yes. Did I have the network? The answer is yes. Did I have the willingness? The answer is yes. All I needed was to then say, I am going to do it. And I didn't jump into this like a crazy person. Like many people just say, "Acha yaar, naukri chodo aur ye karo." 2 saal I worked on my full-time job with this from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day for 4 hours, 5 hours. I used to work at night. Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I would work on this. On my holidays, I would work on this for 2 years. I got it to a stage where I could demonstrate not just to myself, but to my family to say, okay, boys and girls, we are going to do this. I am going to do this. I had to bring my family into this, my wife, my kids, my parents. My parents were like, "ये तो पागल हो गया है." Literally, they were like, "What? Why are you doing this?" But because I was pursuing something which I really believe in, and I know how to solve this problem. You have to be a little bit crazy to pursue entrepreneurship. Normal people who want a cozy life, relaxed life, entrepreneurship is not for them. Trust me, it is hard, but every day I love it. I love solving problems. I love the challenge. And if you were to ask me, what if I would fail? And here's the answer that I give to even to my children. I say, beta, I am happy to fail, to try and fail, but to not have tried. On my deathbed, the day that I die, if I were knowing that I'm dying, and if I had not pursued this, I would have regrets. But if I tried and I failed, I would not regret.
Fair enough.
That
Fair
is
enough.
what,
Fair enough. I think that's combine all the pointers because um, what I personally believe, it's not about how much money you're gonna invest in the business, when do you want to start it, why you want to start it. It's the passion and the craziness that makes the brand that big. Um, because what I see is, I think it is very right because every startup starts from a garage, becoming $1 trillion, $1 billion company. So I think it's totally okay जो आपने बताया बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ठीक है. I think we have discussed a lot of good pointers, Misa, and it's my pleasure to have you on the session because sometime we learn a lot of things with experience because reality is totally different. Um, when I was going through your profile, the first thing that I have in mind, what courage this person have 22 साल के बाद he think he need to start something, and that's what the point I wanted to talk. Thank you so much for taking out your time, sharing your overall experience. I'm pretty much sure for the audience, for the people who wanted to really do it, because a lot of time people are just stuck in this 9 to 5 loop. They born, they work, they die, they don't do anything on their own. And that is what I believe is the difference between, because what I personally think, I don't see a single person buying a Ferrari, buying a Lamborghini, buying an AP just by earning a 9 to 5. Or maybe if they do, it's like only 2-3% of the world. So if you wanted to
yeah,
do something, it's not about, I think it's not about the money, it's not about the cars, it's not about the fancy life. It's about one day you're sitting with your family and just thinking, okay, fine, I did something in my life that I can vouch for. So I think it's a very good thing. Thank you so much, Misham. Thank you so much for your time. It's my pleasure to have you on the session. Just for the audience, if you wanted to reach out to Misham, he's a great person. Just reach out to him, write a proper message, and I'm pretty much sure he is open for all sort of conversation. He will be there to guide you. मैंने message करा, Misham replied me, so I'm pretty much sure he will reply to everyone as well. So thank you so much, Misham. Thank you so much for your time.
it's a pleasure, Umair. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate. I'll leave everybody with one final thought from my side, especially the young guys or girls who are considering doing something of your own. Um, if you have an idea, pursue it. Take action. Try. What's the worst that could happen? You will fail. It's okay. You will learn something, and next time you will do it better. With that, thank you so much.